জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ বিহারী। গোপীজন বল্লভ গিরিবরধারী। গোপীজন বল্লভ গিরিবরধারী। জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ বিহারী। গোপীজন বল্লভ গিরিবরধারী। যশোদানন্দন ব্রজ যমুনা তীর বনচারী। যমুনা তীর বনচারী। জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ বিহারী। গোপীজন বল্লভ জয় রাধা মাধব কুঞ্জ হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে রাম 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, we'd like to welcome all the participants for this one of the most auspicious association to all of us by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Guru Maharaj. And today we are continuing the seminar which Guru Maharaj gave last year on the occasion of Narsimha Jayanti, Narsimha Chaturdashi. So we will be hearing. All the devotees are kindly requested to hear very attentively. At the end, there will be a quiz. All of you can participate in that. Hare Krishna.
Shri Shri Prahlad Nrsimhadev ki jai. So, tomorrow is the auspicious Nrsimha Chaturdasi, appearance of Lord Nrsimhadev, and so therefore we are actually discussing for last few days Lord Nrsimhadev's pastimes, and we discussed how Hiranyaksha was killed by Varahadev, and his elder brother Hiranyakashipu was outraged, very, very angry, and he wanted to take revenge. He found out that Hari killed his brother, so he decided to kill Hari. But he realized that his brother was very powerful, almost as powerful as he was, and he had been defeated by Hari. So in order to defeat Hari, he has to become more powerful. In order to defeat Hari, he has to become more powerful than him, otherwise how can he defeat him? And he decided to perform austerity. And demoniac people, they think that by this kind of material means, they will acquire power. They want to acquire power in this way. Especially the Kshatriyas want to acquire power with their physical strength or military strength. Vaishyas want to acquire power with money. Today's world is being dominated by the Vaishyas. Therefore, money is the power. And and even those who are trying to take over political power, which is kind of power that is acquired by Kshatriyas, but they want to acquire that power in most cases to get money. Actually, political things in most cases has become like a business. They invest money to win the election, and when they win the election, they want to make more money. Invest to make profit. Or another reason is like they want to have power which is even greater than monetary power, political power. Actually, political power is greater, but this political power used to be acquired by physical strength or military strength. Previously, before democracy came, it was the political power was controlled or wielded by kings and others, and more powerful individual would defeat the less powerful ones, and in this way they would get into power. Like the history of the world is very interesting actually. Like previously it was kings, and then the kings used to rule their kingdom, and the kings used to follow the path of dharma, most cases. And when the demoniac people, those who don't believe in dharma, they used to usurp that power that has been established by Krishna. Actually, a king is supposed to be a representative of Krishna. And on behalf of Krishna, they rule the kingdom. But then, when the king deviated from the path of dharma, then they became weak. And then, like for example in India, when the Indian kings became weak due to their internal conflict, because they deviated from the path of dharma, they started to fight with each other. Because that's what happens. If they remain on the path of dharma, then they recognize that, like for example, when everybody knows that they're serving Krishna, then there is harmony. But when they give up that understanding, they start to fight among themselves, and the foreign invaders came and defeated India. Indian kings took over. They took advantage of the conflict between the Indian kings. The Kalishcha Kalaha Priya. Kali spreads his influence through quarrel. And they started to fight among themselves. And the Muslim invaders took advantage of that. And taking advantage, they got one Indian king against another Indian king. They sided with one to defeat another. For example, Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by Muhammad Ghori, and when he took advantage of a conflict between Prithviraj and Jaichand, and he joined hands with Jaichand and defeated Prithviraj. It's a very unfortunate history of India, actually. These warriors, Indian kings, were so powerful that nobody ever dared to enter. They stayed away from India. And Genghis Khan went all the way from Mongolia through Asia Minor to Europe. Never dared to come to India because he knew the Indian kings are very, very powerful. Alexander wanted to conquer India. Here's the kind of opposition that he faced in a small little provincial king in the border, Puru. He realized that if this king in the border can give me such a resistance, what's going to happen when he came to the mainland India, where Magad dynasty. So we can see how powerful Indian kings used to be those days. Anyway, it's unfortunate. First the Muslims came, took over India. Then the British came, colonized India. But the unfortunate thing is, when India got the freedom, the country was divided. An eternal enemy has been created for India. British has caused such a big damage. Anyway, let us see what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants. And this is the material nature. At least we're getting to know. After all, it's a dream. It's a nightmare we are seeing in this way. Hope we'll be able to wake up. At least we have the understanding while we are sleeping. At least we have an understanding that we are sleeping and we are dreaming. And the way to wake up is with Krishna consciousness. Anyway, I mean to go back to Nrsingadev's pastimes. And so Nrsingadev, Hiranyakashipu became extremely powerful, defeated the demigods, but his son became a devotee. And he was a devotee even before his birth. When in Hiranyakashipu's absence, demigods headed by Indra attacked the demons, defeated them, because without the guidance and leadership of Hiranyakashipu, they were not strong enough. So they captivated Kayadhu, Hiranyakashipu's wife, and Kayadhu was pregnant at that time, and they were taking Kayadhu as a captive. So Narad Muni came and said, "Why, Indra, what are you doing? Why are you torturing this woman?" So Indra said that, well, if she's pregnant and a demon's son is in her womb, so we'll take her, and when she gives birth to the child, we'll take care of the child, meaning we'll kill him. Narad Muni said, "Oh, no. In her womb is a great devotee." So this is how Prahlad Maharaj came as a son of the demon, but he was a great devotee. And so Indra let her go. She didn't have any other place to go, so very mercifully Narad Muni took her to his ashram. And there, when Narad Muni used to instruct her, sitting in his mother's womb, Prahlad used to listen to Narad Muni's instructions. And that's how Prahlad, even before his birth, when he was in his mother's womb, he received this knowledge. So he was such a fortunate soul. And in this way, he became a devotee. And Hiranyakashipu, when he saw that this child is a devotee of Vishnu, wanted to kill him. So cruel, his own son, the eldest son, still no mercy, kill him. But here you see the truth behind that statement. When Krishna protects, who can kill? And we saw Prahlad Maharaj is a wonderful example of that. He tried in so many ways to kill him, but he couldn't. And in the meantime, Prahlad is being trained by his guru. These gurus are demoniac gurus, meaning Sukracharya. Sukracharya, Sukra means semen, and Acharya. Semen Acharya. Semen is the basis of material enjoyment. So, Sukracharya. And so he is the guru of the demons, because the demons are into material enjoyment and the guru is telling how to enjoy the material world. And his two sons, Shanda and Amarka. So initially they tried to teach Prahlad politics, economics, diplomacy, and so forth. And then dharma, artha, kam, how to enjoy this material nature. So, but although his guru was thinking that they were giving him instruction on spiritual, materialistic way of advancement, knowledge, but Prahlad actually was already a devotee. And when the gurus were absent, he would tell his demoniac friends about Krishna consciousness. And what wonderful examples, what wonderful instructions. Prahlad Maharaj is telling his friends, demoniac friends, Kaumaram acharet pragya dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusam janma tadapi arthadam tadapi adhrubam arthadam. Kaumaram, from childhood, acharet pragya. Those who are wise, those who are intelligent, from their childhood they will cultivate this process of dharman bhagavataniha. That is, dharman bhagavatan means Bhagavad dharma. The way to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by following His instructions. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, as Bhagavad dharma. This line is coming through Narad Muni. Everything started from Brahma in this universe. And there are two branches. One is the materialistic branch, Karmakanda. Then Jnanakanda, liberation branch, escape from material nature or release or liberation from material bondage. And transcendental to both of them is Bhagavad dharma. That is called Swadharma, Sanatan dharma, Nitya dharma, which is also known as Vaishnava dharma. Takta sadharmam. When one gives up the sadharma, he falls into the material nature. Charanam bhujir, bhujang harir. That dharma is to take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, Hari's lotus feet. So, he is telling, dharman bhagavataniha. And that can be cultivated in the human form of life. So now that we got the human form of life, let's take advantage of it from the very beginning of our life, as the consciousness begins. Kaumaram acharet pragya. Because this life is adhrubam, uncertain. When death will come, we don't know. But yet it is arthadam. It comes with a lot of objective and purpose and benefits. Prahlad Maharaj said, one who is sufficiently intelligent should use the human form of body from the very beginning of life, in other words, from the tender age of childhood, to practice the activities of devotional service, giving up all other engagements. The human body is most rarely achieved, and although temporary like other bodies, it is meaningful. It is meaningful because in human life, one can perform devotional service. Even a slight amount of sincere devotional service can give one complete perfection. So this is how he starts to instruct. Start here, from the very childhood, start to practice this process of Bhagavad dharma, meaning understanding Krishna, surrender to Krishna. Become engaged in devotional service to Krishna in order to achieve the ultimate goal of your life. And then I'm just, selected only few important ones. Actually, all the verses are very important, but since it's a short class, therefore we just selected a few. But I leave it up to you to continue to read, continue to probe into it, continue to study. So then Prahlad Maharaj is saying, it's very important. I selected this verse, it's very, very important. Please listen carefully. How can a person who is most affectionate to his family, the core of his heart being always filled with their pictures, give up their association? He is talking about the people attached to the materialistic way of life. They are so attached to the family, they are so affectionate towards their family. Like their family means everything to them. And they can't possibly give up their association. That's why death becomes so painful to them. when the time comes to be separated. So painful. Especially a wife is always very kind and sympathetic and always pleases her husband in a solitary place. The wife gives the sense pleasure to the husband. Who could give up the association of such a dear and affectionate wife? Small children talk in broken language, very pleasing to hear, and their affectionate father always thinks of their sweet words. How could he give up their association? One's elderly parents and one's sons and daughters are also very dear. A daughter is especially dear to her father, and while living at her husband's house, she is always in his mind. I'm sure everybody can actually feel that. It's such wonderful instructions. Who could give up that association? Aside from this, in household affairs, there are many decorated items of household furniture, and there are also animals and servants. Who could give up such comforts? The attached householder is like a silkworm, which weaves a cocoon in which it becomes imprisoned, unable to get out, simply for the satisfaction of two important senses, the genitals and the tongue. One is bound in material conditions. How can one escape? So it's actually very, very important to understand that this is how everyone gets entangled in the material nature. Now, what is the way? The way is the higher taste. The allurements of the material nature will be there. Therefore, devotees don't need to shy away or run away, but take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet and move forward. Krishna will help. The higher taste is the answer. Get the higher taste, you'll be disgusted about the lower taste. So in purport, I just selected one part of the purport. For such a man to get out is extremely difficult unless he is helped by a strong person, the spiritual master, who helps the fallen person with a strong rope of spiritual instructions. A fallen person should take advantage of this rope, and then the spiritual master or the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna will take him out of the dark well. So that is the ultimate solution. The next I selected, if a person too attached to the duties of family maintenance is unable to control his senses, the core of his heart is immersed in how to accumulate money. Although he knows that one who takes the wealth of others will be punished by the law of the government and by the laws of Yamaraj after death, he continues cheating others to acquire money. So people don't learn, although they know that they'll be arrested, they'll be imprisoned, but still they cannot give up the tendency. And the material law can be avoided, but Yamaraj's law cannot be avoided. Therefore, my dear young friends, born of demons, please act in such a way that the Supreme Lord, who is beyond the conception of material knowledge, will be satisfied. Give up your demoniac nature and act without enmity or duality. Show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service, thus becoming their well-wishers. Nothing is unobtainable for devotees who have satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the cause of all causes, the original source of everything. The Lord is the reservoir of unlimited spiritual qualities. For devotees, therefore, who are transcendental to the modes of material nature, what is the use of following the principles of religion? Economic development, sense gratification, and liberation, which are all automatically obtainable under the influence of the modes of nature. We devotees always glorify the lotus feet of the Lord, and therefore we need not ask for anything in terms of dharma, kama, artha, and moksha. So when the devotees have the access to something so much higher than these material achievements, according to the Vedas, the material achievements have been classified into 4, like pious activities, acquire wealth through pious activities, and then use that wealth for enjoyment. And then finally, when you see that there is no enjoyment in the material nature, then moksha, liberation, get out of this material nature. But beyond moksha is bhakti. Beyond mukti is bhakti. Prahlad Maharaj continued, I received this knowledge from the great saint Narad Muni, who is always engaged in devotional service. This knowledge, which is called Bhagavad Dharma, is fully scientific. It's based on logic and philosophy and is free from all material contamination. Then the sons of the demons replied, Dear Prahlad, neither you nor we know any other teacher or spiritual master other than Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Sukracharya. After all, we are children, and they our controllers. For you specially, who always remain within the palace, is very difficult to associate with a great personality. Dear friend, most gentle one, would you kindly explain how it was possible for you to hear Narad? Kindly dispel our doubts in this regard. So the boys, they also became devotees, and they're actually asking, Prahlad, where did you get this knowledge? You mentioned that you got it from Narad Muni, but you're always in the palace. You never go out of the palace, then how did you receive that knowledge? Okay, so I'll just go a little more on this. Then Prahlad described that how when he was in the womb of his mother, he listened to his sitting in his mother's womb, he listened to his spiritual master Narad Muni. My dear friend, O sons of the demons, you cannot please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by becoming perfect brahmanas, demigods, or great saints, or by becoming perfectly good in etiquette or vast learning. None of these qualifications can awaken the pleasure of the Lord, nor by charity, austerity, sacrifice, cleanliness, or vow can one satisfy the Lord. The Lord is pleased only if one has unflinching, unalloyed devotion to Him. Without sincere devotional service, everything is simply a show. This was Prahlad's instruction, last instruction to his demoniac friends. In the chapter 7, he elaborately described what actually happened, which I already described before, therefore I'm not going into that. That his mother was sheltered by Narad Muni, and when he was in his mother's womb, he listened to Narad Muni. And he was such an exalted soul. Actually, his mother requested Narad Muni that she can keep the child in her womb until her husband came back. She was worried that if the child is born and if her husband is not present, then maybe the demigods will come and do something. to him. And another consideration was that if she gave birth to the child in absence of a husband, staying in Narad Muni's ashram, people could have said things. So Narad Muni also it was, both the things were covered with that the child will be born only after Hiranyakashipu came back. Thank you very much. All glory is to Srila Prabhupada. Champaklata Sakhi Dasi, Ujjain, Atlanta. Champaklata got stranded here. She's from Atlanta. And yeah, I mentioned about her the other day. She's asking, we see how Prahlad Maharaj was put in so much difficulties and he always remembered Lord Krishna. How can you always remember Krishna being in happy and especially in difficult situation? How can you always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna? Please enlighten Guru Maharaj. Yeah, so Champaklata Sakhi, as I have mentioned many times before also, that just became absorbed in hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting. And one of the safest way of hearing, which is the first and most important consideration. And the safest way to be absorbed in hearing is by reading Srila Prabhupada's books. So please read Prabhupada's books and you will see that how you'll become absorbed and you will not forget Krishna. Because that is the wonderful thing. And you can see Srimad Bhagavatam actually gives such wonderful instructions through such wonderful anecdotes, through some wonderful historical happenings. It's so wonderful. So that is the best way. And if you don't have the time to read Prabhupada's books, then listen to Srila Prabhupada. Say, for example, when you're cooking or when you're doing your household chores, just play Srila Prabhupada's tapes. And you will see how, it'll keep you so absorbed. Next is from Premananda Krishna Das from Singapore. Guru Maharaj, tomorrow we'll be fasting for Sri Nrisingha Chaturdashi. After Abhishek, we need breakfast with Anukalpa Prasad or normal Prasad. Yeah. See, the better is to have Anukalpa Prasad. Taking Anukalpa means you're eating but not breaking the fast. You're not taking grains, and that's how you are keeping the fast. And when you're fasting, you're meant to fast till the next day, next morning. It is the same. Develop your attachment to Krishna. Yes, you should be attached to your husband and please your husband. But your attachment to Krishna, your all relationship should be centered around Krishna. That is how you remain detached from material nature. Yes, as a wife, it's your duty to serve your husband, but recognize that your husband is a devotee of Krishna. So make him understand that he has to become a good devotee of Krishna. Then Sanjeev Kumar from Patna, how can we develop firm faith on Lord like Prahlad Maharaj? Yes, we can pray to Krishna, that Krishna, we can develop our love. We hear Prahlad Maharaj as a little child, how much love, how much devotion he had for you. So please bless me that I also can follow the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj. That is the secret. To develop our attachment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we have to follow the footsteps of a great devotee, and that's how we learn. From Nitya, New Jersey. Is it okay to preach by telling stories, real life experiences, like a mango fruit seller in Krishna Leela? Not all are interested in Suddha Bhakti, but want material benefits out of Bhakti. So, to my to my example, I think, to my distressed relative, I said my Radhe Shyam are so powerful and loving. If I offer with love anything for say 1 lakh, they bless us with 10 lakhs. Then immediately she gave me some jewelry. When I offered to her Radha Ma, within no time, their toughest material problems were solved. But still they are not ready to follow ISKCON. But some others that I tried this way became serious devotees. But my well-wishers say it's not right to preach this way, and I am getting their bad karma by doing this. Please advise Gurudev. So those who are saying that, you tell them that Krishna told me that when I surrender to him, he has taken care of all my karma. So don't worry about your karma. Just go and preach. Make them devotees. There's nothing wrong if you do that. If we are always so worried about karma, that means we are in this world. As devotees, we are fearless. What is karma? And yes, if the karma has to come, like we take the example of Vasudev Datta. Let me take all the karma of all the living entities of this world and let me go to hell and suffer there endlessly, eternally. But let all of them get delivered. That is the mood of a devotee. So, at least, as you said, the first example that you gave, like the person didn't become a devotee, didn't join ISKCON, but at least he got some faith. Because, she saw herself that by offering something to Radharani, what she benefited. So at least some faith has been generated in her. And I don't know in that respect what kind of karma you had to take. I don't know. And what to speak of when others become devotees. And after all, you are giving the right examples. That if you do something for Krishna, do something for Radharani, you'll get the benefit. So that is the most important point. Prema Manjari Dasi from Mumbai. Maharaj, you always make us feel so simple and natural in our relationship with Krishna. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Prema Manjari. Yeah, that's what I learned from Srila Prabhupada. Krishna consciousness is so wonderful. Why should you think Krishna consciousness is difficult? Does the father make it difficult for the child to come back to him? No. So that's Krishna. He wants us to go back to him. When he is with our hearts, when he is going with us wherever we are going, so why should you think that going back to Krishna or developing our love for Krishna is going to be difficult? When Krishna loves us so much, why should it be difficult for us to love him in return? Therefore, don't worry. Krishna is all merciful, and Krishna consciousness is so simple. Krishna himself is saying, Susukham kartum abhayam. Susukham, happily executed. Krishna consciousness is happily executed. Thank you so much, everyone. Hare Krishna. Nishinga Chaturdasi ki jai. And tomorrow we'll continue further. I was thinking that I would complete the class tomorrow, but I won't rush. If it goes on for another 2 more days, we'll do it. I hope you all are enjoying this pastimes of Nrisinghadev with Prahlad Maharaj. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Tumaka, tumaka paga, kumaka kunja maga, chapala charana hari ave, ho, chapala charana hari ave. Aruna kirana sama chinna bhinna tama kirana bala ravi ave. Ho, kirana bala ravi ave. मेरे प्राण भुलावन आवे, मेरे नयन लुभावन आवे। अमल कमल कर मुरली मधुर धर, वंशी बजावन आवे। हो, वंशी बजावन आवे। मेरे प्राण भुलावन आवे, मेरे नयन लुभावन आवे।
Prabhu, you are muted. Nobody can hear you.
Hare Krishna. So, Murari Hari Prabhu, you can show the results. Maharaj चले गए. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Maharaj, I think Maharaj left. Okay, Hare Krishna. So, this is the quiz result. Murari Charan Prabhu at first 100%, 9090 score. And then Ankur Prabhu with 7820 score, 90%. Gaurav Prabhu 6280 score. Nagraj Prabhu, Shubh Brat Prabhu, Prem Rupa Mataji, Yambika Janvi Priya Mataji, Gaurang Pri Prabhu, Krishna Bhushan Prabhu. So we will share the link of this quiz and the lecture both in the group. So you all can solve later also. So we will finish with today's quote by Srila Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj is saying, the trouble actually starts when instead of becoming a servant, we want to become the Lord and Master. If we are facing some difficulty today, if our minds are not peaceful, if internally we are not happy, then we have to understand that something is wrong in our practice of devotional service. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, 25th chapter, verse 14, New Mayapur, France, 4th June, 1991. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Lord Premanande, Hari Hari Hari.